to 5 and getting drained. They settle for second best, scared to risk what the future might bring. What the future might bring. I hold my breath, waiting for someone to knock at my door, telling me there is more waiting for me. Whoa.
We're both wafflers.
Right. Hello and welcome back to the second instalment of Q&A with Mum, who's here. You've been here for 3 weeks now, haven't you?
3 weeks, yeah.
I'll link down below part 1 of this Q&A, and there'll be a third part coming up as well, so make sure you're subscribed to watch that. The first part was mostly about my move to Australia, and obviously kind of Mum's perspective on that. And this second part is a little bit more kind of personal with regards to the Darling Academy. If you don't know what the Darling Academy is, my name is Alena Kate Pettitt. I am a housewife first and foremost, but a blogger who kind of sits in that TradWife sphere. I talk about homemaking. I talk about homemaking as a vocation, and I have also written 2 books, Ladies Like Us and English Etiquette, which are mostly about kindness, not really about being a TradWife, but it's more about kind of feminine identity and kindness and grace. And then at the start of 2020, end of 2019, 2020, kind of stumbled into very blindly and naively, maybe, possibly, maybe, advocating for housewives in the media. So you might have seen me on, I don't know, some daytime TV shows and radio
Various
shows
articles
and things like that. So I do that. It's unpaid because this is a passion of mine. I feel like we need to talk more about women who are quite happy to stay home and not necessarily want to have a career. I can't say I ever really was that ambitious to have like a quote unquote career.
A career, no.
I remember saying to you, what was the thing I said to you I wanted to be when I was younger?
When you were 8, you said you wanted to be a maid.
Tick. Well, maid, I think that's just like juvenile speak for saying I wanted to like look after a home and look after people and stuff.
Yeah.
It's almost like a bit of foreshadowing.
Possibly,
And then I also had some, well, let's say ambition. I quite like the idea of journalism, but that's just because I like writing, I think.
Yeah, but before that you wanted to be a firefighter.
Oh, yeah.
Not a firefighter,
No.
a
Fighter pilot.
A fighter pilot.
Which is ironic because I hate flying.
So the first one is from Fiona, and she says, "Hi, lovely to see you looking so settled. I have both your books. Are you able to tell us a little about book 3? I'm really looking forward to reading it."
The long promised book 3. When I wrote Ladies Like Us, I didn't write it with any intention of kind of it becoming anything. I just felt like I had a book in me, and they say that everybody has a book in them. And I wrote that whilst our son was very little and he was off at nursery, and had all the time in the world to do it whilst he was kind of there a few days a week. And it kind of almost like spilled out of me because I'd had it formed in my mind for many years. And English Etiquette, I think I wrote that in a 2-year period, and that one felt a little bit rushed. I do have book 3 in me. I've actually written about 80,000 words, and the word counts of my books are kind of in the area of 100,000 to 120,000. So I still need to finish it. We're very much there, nearly, and then it needs to be edited. But because it's not a commercial thing for me, I want it to come out when the time is right. So watch this space. And I also have started work, but I've stopped now because I think I need to concentrate on the 3rd book. But I've started a fiction book as well, but that's mainly just for fun. So we'll see if that comes out in the future. But yeah, thank you. I can't give you any promises on dates. You just have to bear with. So that's the answer for that one. Because I've got no answer for you.
It'll come when it's ready.
It will come when it's ready, like a baby.
Like a baby.
Like a baby.
Like a baby. Right, next question. Laura asks, would you do it all again, knowing what you know now about social media and how the media was going to portray you?
Yeah. Okay. So 100% yes. I would say I came into it a little bit naively, only in the fact that the very first piece by the BBC, they pressured me into doing certain things in that I didn't necessarily want to do. So my own literacy with dealing with producers of things wasn't what it is now, but I would still do it again in a heartbeat because it came out at the right time. And I mean, whether you think it positive or negative, it had the right impact, so that it kind of created a catalyst for people to talk about it in the media. And there are so many fabulous like housewife influencers now talking about their experiences. So yes, I would throw myself under that bus all over again.
Yeah,
I would definitely would.
Would you approach your public message about homemaking in the same manner, or would you have done things differently?
No, I don't think so. I think obviously with the maturity that I have now, I mean, not only has the conversation been going for 5 years, but I'm 5 years older. I think actually maybe I would have done things differently in the fact that I wouldn't have been quite so scared's the wrong word, but I definitely
Guarded?
Yeah, I feel like I held things back because I was trying to please too many people, because I think people have got it wrong thinking that, you know, all of us, I mean, some of these TradWife influencers are a little bit kind of problematic in their messaging. So I was trying to smooth over those cracks all the time. I think I would have just been a little bit more cemented in my own convictions rather than trying to please everyone, because what I know now is that not everyone wants to be pleased, not everyone wants to understand you, not everyone will get it. So I would have perhaps been a little bit more focused on my audience rather than trying to fight fires and make people understand where they didn't necessarily, they had no intention of understanding.
Some people have no intention of understanding this lifestyle that you and Carl have chosen.
Well, not just us.
Other people.
So many
have, but you know, by doing what you've done in being interviewed and all of that, you've kind of thrown that out there. And you know, there's not really, I hadn't really seen anybody discussing the sort of traditional home, you know, before out in the media. So, you know, and there are so many people now, and if it means that, I mean, for the rest of my life, this actually came about in my interview with the New Yorker magazine. I can never take it back, but if the sacrifice of my privacy and the things that I've shared means that people can talk more openly about it and feel like they've got something to resonate with, then it was worth it for me, I think. You know, that's
so no, I don't think I would have done things differently. I just wish I'd had the confidence back then that I do now. That's all. That's what I would change, but we could say that about any stage in our lives, can't we?
That comes with, we discussed it earlier, it comes with wisdom, doesn't it? It comes with wisdom. Although you are open about your Christian beliefs, I wouldn't classify you as portraying traditional homemaking from a religious viewpoint. You don't bleat on about biblical gender roles. Was it a deliberate choice to come at it from a non-religious perspective?
Yes, because I believe that you can be in a traditional relationship, whether, I suppose our oldest references are religious texts about, you know, a woman and a man's role, but you can be in a traditional relationship without having any faith at all. So I've always been quite inclusive and mindful of the fact that, I mean, I've been on podcasts with Muslim women and, you know, people of no faith, people that don't look like the typical, you know, Western woman, or the Christian influencer in America that, you know, homeschools and has loads of children and stuff. It exists on a spectrum, and I think that's what I've always wanted to get across. And that was what really frustrated me with the media, is that they would, the amount of times they called me like a white supremacist or a Nazi, and I'm like, you're actually only saying that because I'm white and I'm a Christian. Like, if there is and I've got homemaking influencer friends who are on YouTube and things like that, and they are from Hispanic backgrounds or, you know, Afro-Caribbean backgrounds, that they can't sling that at them, which is interesting. But yeah, it exists on a spectrum. It's available to everybody. So for me, I feel like it marries with my Christian beliefs, but I wanted to be a housewife long before I actually became a Christian. So, because it just aligns with my values. It just so happens that it kind of dovetailed nicely, I think.
Yeah, and I think
Christian
also,
beliefs.
you know, I'm not a Christian, but if I'd have had the opportunity, I would have loved to have lived this lifestyle.
Yes.
And I didn't because of the, you know, the time frame I lived in. But yeah, I would have, if I'd have had the opportunity at the time, I would have, and I'm not a Christian. So,
And I think many people can recognise the fact that, you know, you don't need to have any kind of religious or spiritual beliefs in order to kind of want to run a nice household and live this kind of dynamic. So
no, absolutely not. It doesn't require a religious belief.
No.
It just requires, you know, conversation, mutual respect, building that framework as a family unit.
Yes.
Right, next question. If money was no object and you could outsource as much homemaking duties as possible, cleaning, cooking, childcare, what would you absolutely insist on still doing yourself? I can answer this one straight away. You would outsource hoovering.
That is exactly what I was going to say, the vacuuming. I detest vacuuming, and this is another thing. You can be a homemaker and love homemaking and not love every single element of it. I mean, who enjoys cleaning toilets, for example?
Not me.
Could you put a comment down below if you actually love cleaning the toilet? I know there's people that love vacuuming because they find it so satisfying, and I'm like, that is just no.
See, I hate ironing.
Yeah, and I love ironing, so we'd make a good team.
We would make a good team, actually.
We do make a good team. It's been really nice actually having Mum here, because I've been coming into the kitchen like thinking, oh, I need to empty the dishwasher, and I go, oh, it's done. So, but what would I absolutely insist on still doing yourself? See, Mum and I are easygoing people, but we like doing things our own way, don't we? We like things to be done how we like it to be done.
Yeah.
So I think the only thing I would outsource is the vacuuming. I'd quite like to have I love cooking, but actually if I was like Oprah level wealthy, I think I would have a chef nutritionist. I would still get in the kitchen and, you know, they could have a few days off. I do love cooking, but I just think it would be so nice to have someone to, because that's quite I find that
but that decision making is really hard.
Yeah, I think,
you know,
so.
what you're going to, you know, at the beginning of the week, you meal plan.
Yeah, and I like doing that, and I can meal plan and stuff, but then you're kind of like fighting.
But then things change in the week, and so you think to yourself, right, I'll do a lovely, warm, wholesome meal on Thursday.
And then the weather changes,
you know, and then the weather changes, and it's so hot, and you're like, yes, you know, something like that is not.
If you had a chef nutritionist that went out in the morning and bought things fresh at the market, and then came home and then cooked it and just I think that I would have that too, in the sense that I wouldn't have to think about, because meal planning it's fun, but it can be frustrating in the sense of, you know, and then if you've got however many people in the family and you say, okay, we're going to have spaghetti bolognese on so-and-so, and I don't want that.
80% of the household says, oh, I don't really want spaghetti bolognese.
Yeah.
It can be a little bit frustrating.
That can be a bit frustrating, but you still do it.
So for somebody else to make that decision, then you go, well, that's what's been decided by somebody else, so you have to eat it. So,
you're going to have to.
Yeah, so there we go. So waffling again, but there you go. Right, so the last question, what would you have changed about your homeschool journey, if anything?
Okay, so we only homeschooled Arlo through the lockdown years. I had been considering it shortly prior to that, and it was the right decision, absolutely the right decision for our family to homeschool him during the lockdown years. I would have, I think if I had more children, and I would love to have had more children, it just didn't work out, I would probably homeschool all of them. But we got to a point with Arlo when he got a little bit older, about 10, I think. The homeschool network where we were living at that time was very girl heavy, and as much as young kids kind of play and, you know, like they all get on with it, as soon as they get to that age, I don't know if anyone's experienced this with their sons and daughters, but they tend to go off like that. And also
mutual at that age, you know, but sort of leading up to about that age, there's mutual interests. As soon as you kind of get to sort of 9, 10, 11, then interests change for boys and girls.
And we also did what they call unschooling, which is very child interest led. So rather than following a curriculum, we built education based around his interests at the time. And unfortunately, he's inherited this from you, because mum is incredible at maths. My husband's really good at maths as well. And I can't even keep up with him now, and I definitely wasn't back then. But also from where he's going in his journey, I would be surprised if he wasn't an engineer of some description. And the school he's in now, he's in a grammar program, and they've got all of the facilities available just to provide that for him. But also he wanted the school experience as well. I think that was the major decision for him wanting to go back, was that he wanted that school experience. So I wouldn't change anything about it. I do think things would be different if I had more children, but you can't go by that, can you, really?
No.
So it was a good positive experience for us.
Yeah, and I saw that. I saw it as that as well. So you know, especially I really liked that it was led by Arlo's interests.
Yes.
So I understood that concept, that whole idea, and you know, I think personally, I feel that you learn more from aiming towards, you know, the interests that you have.
They're so much more willing to absorb information when it's something that they're interested in, rather than saying to him, because if it was me, I'd be like, right, now we're going to learn Tudor history, and now we're going to learn, you know, like my weird and wacky interests and stuff like that, and he'd be like, oh, I'm so bored. And I think that's sometimes the issue with mainstream school, is that they will go through seasons where they're just not interested in something in particular. But the resilience needs to be there for them to kind of carry on. But it was a good positive experience overall.
It was absolutely, and he's certainly not behind in any way. I mean, he's, you know,
don't let that, if you've been considering homeschooling or maybe unschooling, there are better phrases for it, like child-led learning and things like that. You've really got to do what's best for your family and your child. There's a lot of naysayers on the internet, and you know, him going back into school, he's actually a little bit. He was always a smart kid. Sometimes he's not as challenged as he could be, but it might equal itself out in a few years to come. You know, so. Just as long as you do best for your children and best for your family.
Absolutely.
What makes you all happy.
Biggest message.
Yes.
What's best for you and your family unit.
Exactly, and that's the entire message with regards to being a TradWife that I could ever get across, I think, because it's not for everybody. Homeschooling's not for everybody. Being a homemaker's not for everybody. Vacuuming the floor's not from everybody.
Ironing is not for everybody.
But there we go. So just a short one for
part
2. We will be back with part 3 shortly. I'm probably going to get changed because it's hot.
So hot
today. We'll be back in a bit. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Bye.
When the chicken is browned, add stock, coconut milk, fish sauce, lime leaves and some sweet potato. How do you cope with lime leaves in Yorkshire?
Well, I've just started to grow some, but it's going to be a long time before they're ready.
Oh, really?
But I've just discovered from Rob today there's somebody growing them in Kent.
There is? Yeah, there you go, sir. There is.